Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We kick things off with football. Jamaica's national women's football team, the Reggae Girlz, say subpar planning by the Jamaica Football Federation is having a negative impact on their preparation for the FIFA Women's World Cup. In an open letter shared on social media on Thursday, the girls listed several shortcomings on the part of the local governing body. Here's a copy of the letter shared by team captain Konya Plummer. One of the greatest honors for a footballer is to represent your national team. Qualifying for a second World Cup is something most never imagined or thought possible for the Reggae Girlz. At a time where we should be focused solely on preparing to compete on the world's largest stage, we are unfortunately compelled to express our utmost disappointment with the Jamaica Football Federation. On multiple occasions, we have sat down with the Federation to respectfully express concerns resulting from subpar planning, transportation, accommodations, training conditions, compensation, communication, nutrition, and accessibility to proper resources. We have also showed up repeatedly without receiving contractually agreed upon compensation. We were told that all our requests and concerns would be resolved in a timely manner. Unfortunately, that time has expired, and once again, our questions go unanswered and our concerns unresolved. In recent months, due to extreme disorganization of camp logistics, we have missed several official FIFA-friendly matches. This will undoubtedly impact our preparation for Australia. The Reggae Girlz consist of professional and collegiate footballers who are spread out across the world. To be left questioning whether a camp will even take place 2 or 3 days before the expected start is unprofessional and often unfairly prohibitive for some of our players. It continues. There is unwavering commitment from every player, coach, and staff member of the Reggae Girlz. We desire to perform our best to make Jamaica proud and to ensure a strong future for so many aspiring young Reggae girls. We are constantly serving in multiple capacities, trying to overcome inadequate and often unacceptable circumstances, while doing our best to meet the physical and mental demands of the sport we love so much. We hope that by using our platforms to express the reality of our situation, our efforts will be reciprocated. We hope there will be immediate and systematic change within our federation and those in charge of protecting the integrity of women's football. Sincerely, the Reggae Girlz. Well, we here at SportsMax reached out to the Jamaica Football Federation for a comment and was informed by their General Secretary, Dennis Chung, that they are unavailable before Monday. So, Ricardo, after that, I'm left to turn to you to ask you, firstly, what do you make of this situation? I'll say, to me, it's messy. We have a couple of weeks for the ladies to get into World Cup mode. I would think they would have been in World Cup mode all now. But we're sitting on the SportsMax Zone at the top of the show, and this is what you and I have to talk about.
Yeah, you are right. It's not the situation that you want to see unfolding just weeks ahead of a World Cup campaign. At this point, you would want the girls to be solely focused on doing well in Australia and New Zealand, but clearly there are some issues here. Mariah, I want to start with the release from the Reggae Girlz. Now, there's an issue I have, and that is, and it's becoming more and more prevalent with sportsmen and women, where they go on social media and they put something out there, and then when it's time for cross-examination, they have nothing to say. And at least in the initial stages, that's what I'm getting from these Reggae Girlz. Now, listen, the issues may well be legitimate. No questions about that. But for me, as soon as you put that in the public domain, as soon as you put that release on social media, then you must be prepared to answer the questions that come with them. You can't put that out on Thursday afternoon and then on Thursday evening, oh, we have nothing to say at this point. So I have a massive problem with that. It's not dissimilar to the Ramner Isawan situation that we had the other day, where he came out lambasting Cricket West Indies and at the end of his Facebook post then said, well, don't call me, go and call Cricket West Indies and get the answers from them. If it is that you're asking for openness and transparency from particular organizations, then you should also show that same level of transparency. So my thing is, the moment you put that out there, you should at least have one representative who is ready to speak on the matter, be willing to be cross-examined and answer the questions that the media will undoubtedly have, that will help to put us in a position to make an informed decision as to whether whatever it is that you're saying, the issues that you have brought forward, whether they are legitimate issues. So that's point number one for me.
Right. So I hear what you're saying. And the thing is, because I have a sister as well who is part of a setup, and she's also not a very vocal person, so we're opposites. And I feel like I could understand from the lady's point of view. Ricardo, not many people understand the role of the media. A lot of people see the media as negative, as in they try to avoid us, right? And I think by putting out the press release, for them, it's as if that's their way of getting a solution. They don't want to come to the media and answer anything. They feel as if they'll be put on a spot. A lot of these young ladies are not very media friendly, and they're afraid.
Well, hold on. Someone wrote that release.
I think it was a combined effort.
Yes, a combined effort. And if you understand the power of social media enough to put a combined effort together, to have that out there, then you should also understand the importance of being cross-examined and being able to explain some of the finer points, so that the very individuals, the very public that you're trying to get on your side can have a full understanding of what is going on. How can you get the support that you are looking for if those you are looking for that support from don't have a complete understanding of what really is taking place?
And that's the point I was trying to make. So sometimes I wish the players can understand that we can help them to get a solution by coming on and explaining. It sort of clears up what you're going through, because even the press release, and I was looking at it, wasn't very, very clear. We get the idea that, okay, you're having transportation issues, you haven't been paid, but we don't understand. And then I heard some voice recordings from JFF President Michael Ricketts. So it's as if he's basically saying that they got paid from, from the voice notes that I heard. Now, I would like to ask the ladies which monies are outstanding. Where exactly, what did they do when it came towards the friendlies? Transportation, is it that for one game you didn't get transportation? Is it that, those are the things that need fleshing out.
Whether it's been an ongoing issue,
because
all of that.
You basically just throw things out, right? You'll have your conversations with the JFF, and what I get is this has been an ongoing situation. We're here today, we've heard about this before, so it's as if nothing has been rectified. Now, if you come on and we have this discussion, the JFF as well, looking on at the interviews, can hear, and it doesn't have to be aggressive.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a complaint. Yeah. It's basically a discussion. It's like mediation. We have a discussion, you air your views, then we hear from the other side. And I think that's one way of coming towards some solutions. By putting out general points, and I say it very vaguely, like just some general ideas, it's left to interpretation, and that's why analysts come in and we interpret what we want, because we don't know.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? And by the way, before I say this, let me be very clear. I have absolutely no issues with SportsMax. I have a wonderful working relationship with this company.
Well, I would hope so. You sit on the set right now, else do I kick you out?
But let us say I did have some issues with SportsMax and I wanted to air those grouses on social media, which I probably wouldn't. But let's say it got to a stage where I felt that I needed to do that. And having done that, then I would understand that once I open that door, I am allowing individuals, including the media, to come in and ask me questions relating to the issues I'm having so that they can get a clear understanding of what I'm going through. And I think that's only fair, and that's the very way I feel about the situation. But I don't want to belabor that point too much.
I know. I want to talk about what they're going through, though.
Yes, which is where I'm going to get to next.
Because it's unfair, and I am not okay with it. So let me just put that out there.
Talk to me.
I'm so annoyed. These ladies, and I say it as if I'm a Jamaican. I know I'm Trini. I'm actually wearing a TTFA shirt right now, so that makes it clear. But I've been around these ladies. These Jamaican women, Ricardo, is another reason for you Jamaicans to be extremely proud. Khadija Bunny Shaw, Konya Plummer, every one of them, and it'll be too many to name. They've done this. They've achieved a feat that no other Caribbean country has done, right? And I say that as a Trini, male or female, back-to-back World Cups. When you look at the ladies, they represent themselves so well. I've sat in press conferences with them. They represent Jamaica on the highest level. When you hear Khadija Bunny Shaw for Manchester City, that warms my heart. It's as if, that's one of me. That's one of us doing that at that level. And I am very disgusted and disappointed that the ladies, just 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the World Cup, these are the things they're talking about. This doesn't paint the JFF in a good light. It doesn't paint Jamaica in a good light, because remember, these are not basic players. These are players playing in the English Premier League.
Yeah, so this is how I see it, right? It's clear to me, having spoken to several individuals throughout the course of today, that at the heart of the problem is that the Reggae Girlz do not feel that they are getting the respect they deserve. That is what is at the heart of the problem here. And it may sound trivial to some, but it's not. And I'll tell you why. If the Reggae Boys had qualified for another World Cup, forget back-to-back World Cups, just qualified for a World Cup, right now, we probably, well, not probably, I'm going to go as far as saying we definitely would be preparing to watch them play a game in Jamaica, some sort of a send-off before they go to the World Cup. We probably would be having some sort of parade in the streets with the normal Jamaican being able to interact with these players.
So what's the difference?
There would be tremendous fanfare. I have absolutely no doubt about it around the team. We're not seeing that with these females. Now, from what I understand, one of the grouses has to do with the fact that they would have liked a send-off game before they head off to the World Cup, and that is not happening. Why it isn't happening? We're hearing a few stories. One, we hear from the JFF's standpoint, there was to be a game on the 29th of June, I think.
First the 25th.
Yeah.
They didn't get the stadiums. Then they got it for the 29th, but coach didn't want it at that time.
Because apparently they are supposed to have a camp in Amsterdam after that game, and the coach is thinking that game would be too close to the camp, because then you have your players going into camp, they're going to be tired, and then the camp almost becomes worthless. In my estimation, it makes sense, just understanding the body and when you work over a certain period of time, needing a certain amount of recovery time and all of that. So that is fine in and of itself. But here is where I want to go with this, because the Jamaica Football Federation, in my opinion, and this is something that they can answer to when we do have the opportunity to speak with them, should not be coming down to June and still trying to sort out these logistical details. These are things that should have been sorted, or at least been fully put into motion from December last year, January this year. Because we have known for a long time now that the Reggae Girlz have qualified for the World Cup. And so there should have been a detailed plan in place for how you're going to deal with the build-up and how you're going to deal with their send-off, how you're going to deal with the fanfare of allowing Jamaica to feel part of the team, to get to know the girls. And that clearly was not done on the part of the Jamaica Football Federation. So to come to me at this stage and say to me, oh, we can't get a ground, we can't get a venue.
Of course I'd be annoyed. I'd write it. That letter is too short.
That's not good enough, because you should have booked the National Stadium from December or January.
Yeah, and that's what I was listening. And this is so, I'm so aggravated by it, right? Because today I'm looking at the pre-match interviews, because of course the ladies are getting ready. That's what we should be talking about, Ricardo. Rebecca Spencer, goalkeeper. In her interview, she couldn't really talk about tactics or anything. She spoke about the importance of having the players playing in the English Premier League. But her responses spoke about her disappointment. She's disappointed in the fact that they didn't get the fixtures. Yeah. She spoke about the necessity of getting those games in, playing at home, all of that. So my problem with this is, we're sitting here today for us to be celebrating the ladies, for us to be talking about these practice matches that they had and where they need to improve tactically, where they lost it, maybe where they won it. For us to be spending our time talking about that, I feel like the narrative is off.
Yeah, and by the way, if it is a situation where the JFF was trying to get a local ground and they could not get a ground locally to host a send-off match, then do it in Florida. Do it somewhere where you have a large Jamaican population, somewhere in the diaspora, where you know that you will have the Jamaican turnout just the same. But I'm saying you can only make those adjustments when you are ahead of the game. If you're waiting until last minute, then you're going to be in this situation. And that's where the girls, I think, are most disappointed when they speak about the planning. Because if you plan properly, then you will get rid of a lot of these kinks and you won't have a lot of these issues. And we know that the JFF has had a lot of issues in recent times with the male team, with the female team, with junior teams, in terms of how they plan and prepare to get these teams out there into competition. Well, there's ladies, a lot more to be said on this, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about it again on Monday.
And this is an open invitation, Reggae Girlz. If you want to come on the SportsMax Zone and talk to us, we're here. Let's take a break.
We'll mediate for you.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.